Aries, last month was a epic, tumultuous month for all signs. And I think this month shows it settling down, coming to terms with it. Certainly your overall energy is that of experience, wisdom. Maybe some new information has even come to you. In the past, you were looking towards maybe religion or spirituality for that information. And I believe it does come to you this month. You're now standing tall and wanting to do something, wanting to do action, maybe even in an entrepreneurial way. But in the future, maybe you will be constrained by dependence or things that you feel you have to do. The universe is sending you a message to say, look, don't worry, you're strong. You can go through with all of this. Everything's okay. You have that inner strength that you need. And what would change things is you sort of working with others, maybe being less independent, maybe trying to get the best out of others. Potentially it could also be you being slightly manipulative, but I don't think that's what it's telling us. And the ending is a lovely ending. It's an ending of karmic judgment, which I think bodes well for you. You've realised that the past things were wrong and it needs to change. I almost think you're being called upon to lead others because you have somewhat seen through things. Now, as I say, I think maybe as a result of last month, but maybe it goes back further. But the experience that you've got has created a great wisdom in you. A wisdom that other people would seek out, which is why I think you're maybe being called to leadership, because you seem to have grasped things that others haven't. It's a deep wisdom, and this runs throughout it. So I think you're seeking wisdom this month. And I do believe that you get that wisdom. I do believe that it comes to you, which is why I think you are being called to this sort of leadership role because of your wisdom, because of the knowledge that you have. And undoubtedly it does come from experience. And I think, like us all in the past, you've sought this wisdom through religion, spirituality, through others, through people that should know. But I think you're emerging as that person that should know, the person with that wisdom. I don't know if you found this knowledge in religion, or it's something that you developed through experience, but you were certainly seeking it. And where you were seeking was a somewhat conservative way of seeking it, it was a sort of conservative appreciation of what's going on. And whereas I'm much prone to much more radicalism, to throwing out the baby with the bathwater, the universe has been giving me plenty of warnings that that isn't the way to do things, that we can find the answers in a somewhat conservative way, that we've been through situations like this in the past and we can learn from those. That doesn't mean to say things are repeating themselves. But if you can understand the feelings and energies and go with those, then you truly have learned something. And as a result of that wisdom, I think you're anxious to do something, and maybe people are looking on you to do something. As I say, I've got this strong feeling you're being called to lead. It's a sort of energy of an entrepreneur. Whether or not we are talking of enterprise, I really don't know, but it's that sort of energy. It's an imperative for action, but it's not a headless chicken action. It's something that you've thought about, something you've studied, and something that you've thought, yeah, I must do something about this. And that's how you're feeling right now. And I think it's commendable, but I'm not sure that you absolutely know at this moment in time what it is that you should be doing. But you are very nearly there, so don't give up on it. You're very nearly understanding exactly what you should do.
I don't know where the party.
Now, if there is an energy of concern, and I'm throwing it out probably as a minor concern, and that is the energy of the future. It's an energy of you having people depending on you and you struggling to do everything. And I think this is you being called to leadership and realising the responsibilities of leadership. And I think you might feel it a bit of a struggle, but actually everyone believes you're doing a wonderful job. You're doing the right things, but you're not entirely certain of yourself. And maybe that leads to a bit of frustration's too strong a word, a little bit of feeling that you should be doing better, when nobody else probably thinks like that. But yeah, it is a burden that you feel to a certain degree. However you may feel about yourself and your ability to lead, your ability to take the right decisions, to be doing the right things, the universe is saying to you that you have this wonderful inner strength, that you're absolutely up for the task that seems to have befallen you. And you can call on a marvellous inner strength that will see you through. So, I think this is a time of you stepping into this sort of leadership role because of your experience, because of your knowledge. People are going to look up to you. And in your darkest moments, you will have your doubts about yourself. Your doubts. Are you up for the job? And the universe is shouting out, yes, you really are. You've got this strength. Now, call on it. And a lot of signs are getting this card at this moment in time. And I think it's calling us to find this inner resolve and inner strength in what are going to be difficult circumstances this year, and in particular this month. Now, what would change the outcome, and the outcome is a very good outcome, or maybe not change it so much as alter it, and that is the energy of the Empress. This is a very feminine energy. This is an energy of being in tune with nature, an energy of following your heart more than your head. And all of the energies we've had so far are to do with thinking things, intellect, wisdom, whereas this is a wisdom that comes not from the head but the heart. And I think the message is that if you could fill yourself full of love and be guided by love a little bit more, you'd find things a lot easier. So, as I've said later on, you maybe feel you're struggling with dependencies or dependence, struggling to do enough. Whereas if you sort of were guided a bit more by your heart and love, I think you'd find it a lot easier. I want to take away from the outcome, because the outcome is a great outcome. And I think that this sort of more feminine energy would simply make it more acceptable almost. The outcome is karmic judgment. Now, it's possible there is some karmic judgment against you, but I don't think that's major. I think this is karmic judgment at a sort of global level. We all know that there's been deception, greed, manipulation. We've all been victims of it. And slowly but surely, we can all feel that this karmic judgment is already occurring. People are being exposed. We don't need to get involved in it. This is the universe doing this. And those people who've put themselves before humanity are getting their comeuppance. They really are. And I think we can all feel that. And I see that as an entirely positive thing, because it'll open up an understanding in all of us about how we should live our lives in future. And it isn't as we've been living our lives in the past. And now, I could go on about this, about who those are, and that they shouldn't have done it, but that doesn't matter, because in these readings what matters is you and your energy. So the knowledge that the universe does balance itself through this karmic judgment, and those who've transgressed do get punished, is enough. And I'm not even going to take any clarification on this, because I think we know enough. And I can summarise for you now. Aries, last month was an epic month for all cards, and in this month it sees you emerging as a leader. You're being called to lead, because through your experience you've grasped things that others haven't. And in this month, you're grasping it. Now, you have been searching for answers, probably through religion, spirituality, certainly through sort of a somewhat conservative way of looking at things, which is the opposite reaction to that I have. But the cards so often tell me that I'm wrong, and that often the tried and tested ways are the best ways. You will in this month be anxious to do something. I'm not certain you quite understand what you should do. And maybe it's to do with community enterprise, but I'm not sure. But you're sort of searching for answers, and it's a very cerebral way of approaching it. The universe wants you to know that you have the strength to see it through. Whatever your concerns about your own abilities, your own knowledge, you are quite capable of leading others and doing it. However, in the long term, you might feel the strain of that, because, of course, with leadership comes responsibilities. And I think you might feel the strain of that responsibility in the future. Because of, let's talk about something else. What would probably ease your burden is, instead of being so cerebral, is following your heart more. Opening yourself up to love and taking decisions based on love, not purely on what you see as logic. And I'm not certain it alters things that much, it just makes them so much easier for you if you were to do it that way. And I think what is coming is karmic judgment of those who've, to put it bluntly, attempted to destroy humanity. People have put themselves before the rest of humanity. Now, you might be one of those people in the past, but I don't think it's major for you. I think what it's telling us is something we're all aware of, is those who've cheated, deceived, lied, put greed in front of everybody else, are being punished by the universe because the universe seeks balance. And the effect I think it has on you is realising that we must lead our lives differently. We mustn't follow the ideologies, if you like, the ideas of the past. And we need to create new paradigms based on love, based on community, based on sharing. And you are, I think, more than able to step into this role. I suspect it's a role that you've had in the past, but now the paradigm has changed and you're struggling to find how you should use what people are wanting you to use. And the universe is saying you can do it. You can do it, Aries. So take heart from it.